Hey, welcome to all my Global Methodist Church pastor friends. My name is Jay Hanson, and I am the pastor of the chapel, which is a Global Methodist Church in Brunswick, Georgia. I've been the pastor here for 19 years, and I'm currently serving as the president pro-tem for the South Georgia Conference, which is comprised of 14 different connectional communities, which are spread all across the state of Georgia. Many of you I know and have worked with for a long time, and many of you I'm just now getting to meet and living into being in connection with you. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about what God is doing and about how He's going to do it through our friendships and our relationships. One of the ways that we experience connection together is through what we call the Global Methodist Church Connectional Giving. This is our way of supporting what God is doing through our network, our denomination. And in South Georgia, we've opted to do it a little bit differently than any other conference in the world is doing. We believe that generosity is in our DNA, and that we should be generous people because God has been generous to us. And so we are allowed to set our annual conference connectional giving at anywhere up to 5% of your annual income. But what we've done at our recent annual conference at Epworth-by-the-Sea is we set the connectional giving level at 0, meaning that we're not going to require people to give anything to the annual conference. However, we hope to inspire you to give generously as God enables you. So here's the way the connectional giving is set up, that you're asked to give 1% of your operating income, which is just based on your income from last year. You determine that however you like. It doesn't include things like memorial gifts or missional giving or endowments, but just for your operating budget, you give 1% to the general church. And then you're not required to give anything to the annual conference, but you certainly are encouraged to. What I'm finding is that while people are very appreciative of this opportunity to not be forced to give, and they find giving, picking what they can give, very inspirational and very energizing to their congregation, a lot of churches just aren't used to it. They're not used to figuring out how to be generous and how to give money away. So I'd like to suggest to you a sample way that you might consider giving. This would be if your church decided to give away 10%. Okay, 10% of your operating income. Hopefully, you're blessed enough to give far more than that. But here's just a sample way. You'd give 1% to the general church for the Global Methodist Church, and then maybe you give 2% of your income, operating income, to the annual conference, and then you take 3% and you give it to what I'm calling legacy ministries. These are things that your church has historically funded, like the Methodist Home or Wesley Foundations or Magnolia Manor or Wesley Glen, or you pick the ones that you have a relationship with that you'd like to continue giving to. And then give 4% to ministries that your church just wants to bless in your local community. That you give 1% to the general church, 2% to the annual conference, 3% to ministries around the world that you have a relationship with, and then 4% locally, which adds up to 10%. Now, hopefully you could give even more than that. But as leaders of your church, you might have to help your church learn to live into generosity. And you might have to work a little bit to inspire them to be generous. But I hope that you will follow Christ's example and be generous in all that you do, and that your church will make a big impact in this world. And we want to give you the freedom to determine how God is leading you to do that. God bless you. We'll talk again soon.